All right, so now what we're going to show you is how to prompt people, specifically in a program. This is really important when you're working with the flow of a program and trying to control different things. So let's just start with a sub-procedure. And there are two ways that we can actually prompt people. Well, three actually. I'm only going to show you two today. The first one is to use message boxes with buttons, and there you can actually control the program that way. But you can also use input boxes, and I'll show you the difference between those two. The third way that I'm not going to show you is a user form, and just to quickly do that, you would just use insert user form, and that's how you would actually get to doing that. And that's more of a customized way, but I'm just going to show you message box and input box today. So before you saw us use message boxes this way, where we would just say hello. And there it is. But now what we're going to do is we're going to add a button to it. In order to do that, we have to assign the message box to the variable. And to do that, assigning again is going from the right to the left. Now, how this becomes important is when we're putting buttons in here. And you can see after I put this comma, this prompt shows up, and you can see a bunch of different buttons that we can use. So we can use the abort, retry, ignore buttons, and our program doesn't do anything based on that. But we can also use, what we're going to do today is VB yes, no. But you can see there's many different ways. So you can see yes and no. Now let's just put a message in here. Hello, would you like some pie? Now, stepping through this, you can see from the locals window, again, stepping through is hitting the F8 key. Let's just say I hit yes. You can see down here in the locals window, this now has a value of 6. So if you wanted to, you can write a quick if statement here. If x equals 6, then let's just say you said yes, else, message box, you said no, and if. So running this again, you can say, hello, would you like some pie? I said yes. It says, you said yes. Well, no, duh. Running it again, if we say no, it says we said no. So this is really important in terms of controlling flow of the program, and this is like a really easy way to jump into that. So now going into the input box method, it's kind of similar to this method here, where we have assignment that's necessary. Input boxes need to store will need to store whatever you put in there into a variable. And to do that, you just say input box. And now this looks very similar to a message box, but this one won't have different buttons. You're just going to put in whatever you want to. So let's say enter a decimal number. And this is going to be stored into X. Now we're going to put a message box. Your number is ampersand concatenate and say X. So we're saying the message, your number is, then ampersand X. Concatenate. So trying this out, let's do 56.324, and voila, it's working out. But let's say, for example, we kind of messed this up and we put a bunch of text in there. Pi. Your number is pi. Well, that doesn't really make sense unless we're talking about the mathematical pi. So the way that we can ensure that we get a correct input in here is we define the variable. And to do that, we dimensionalize it, dim x as a double, so we expect a decimal number. So if we actually put in something like pi, for example, that's not a decimal, VBA gets really mad at you, and there's a mismatch error. So you can cover this later by working with different error handlers, but that's above the scope of this lesson and for next time.